How are you doing? We're back. We're back. Hopefully this one works. Please tell me there's somebody here this time. This is the second crack at this one. I'm just waiting to see a few eyeballs. Come on. Anybody here? Ah, please. Okay, we have a bit of action here. Who's the two people that are here? Oh, how you doing again, King? We have everyone there, yeah. I'm gonna have to continue on. I just hope this one works. Um, we're just gonna have to continue on. Um, it's the same two people as last time, but okay, now we're rolling. Now we have 10. All right, let's do it. So sorry about that earlier on. Teething issues. I told you this software is a little bit tricky. I will master it. How are you all doing? How are you all doing? Good man, Richie. Well done, Maria, Kinga, and Techno Star. Love it. First order of business. Congratulations to the three girls passing that test. We had Kelly yesterday. You'll see a mention of her in a few minutes about the reverse around the corner. And today we had Charlene and Michelle. Congratulations. They definitely won't see this because they passed their driving test. Nobody with a full license will be here. But anyway, so thank you, everybody. Renata, see you tomorrow. Well done, everybody. So yeah, these lives, these are for my students and also the members of my WhatsApp membership. Just to give you lads a little bit more to say thanks for supporting me. If you do see this live a bit later on and you want to join the membership to get invited into the WhatsApp group, just click the link in the description there and we're going to continue on. How are we all doing? So we're straight into it here. This was posted by Harsh during the week. So this is important. In test route 5, there are a few roads in the estate where Gabby mentioned the speed limit is 50, but the roads are really narrow. Plus there was cars parked on both sides. Do we need to maintain the speed of 50? Or is it okay to drive 30? So this didn't play earlier. I don't know why, but it did play when I had it on the slides. So this was a clip. How does that play? Hang on. I have to figure that out now. I don't know how to make that play. But it's a really narrow estate. There was no speed limit sign on the way in, which suggests if there's no speed limit sign, the speed limit is same as the last road. But if it's really narrow like that, going 50 would be unsafe. And there is a section in the marking sheet guidelines for this and in your driving test sheet. So under the section speed, the very first sentence, where an applicant should adjust the speed to suit road conditions and traffic conditions. So in your driving test, if the speed limit is 50, by all means, if it's safe to get up to 50, you get up to 50 and you hold it there. Then as you're driving along, this is where the more experienced driver in you will kick in. You will notice, okay, this is really narrow, or there's construction work, or there's whatever happening. There's a lot of there's a lot of activity where the road is narrow or there's cars parked. That's when the tester will be expecting you to notice it, come off the gas, and if you need to reduce your speed, and just go through that little bit slower. So that is important. You don't go through narrow gaps at the speed limit, and it just all just comes down to reaction to hazards. You probably wouldn't get a mark for speed as much. You'll probably get a mark for reaction to hazards instead. Next we have, so this is important. So while performing the reverse around the corner, can we stop the car for a second or two to check the mirrors and the blind spot? Or have we to do it while performing the maneuver? I am aware we need to stop straight away for cars coming from behind. Yes, you stop for cars coming from behind. I do reckon when you're reversing back in a straight line, try to do that without stopping. That's really easy. Just make sure you're straight with the curb in your left mirror. When you're straight, that's when I will be doing my looks around. When it's time to steer, you can stop a couple of times, once or twice, just to look around. On the other hand, it's better to get a mark for going too slow than not being able to do it but without stopping and making it really wide, or even worse, hitting the path. So I'm going to show you what happened to Kelly yesterday. She said she picked up a grade two on the reverse around the corner. You'll see her saying here, and another one, she means she got another grade two for reverse around the corner. He said it was perfect, but it was too slow. I kept on telling her, I was like, this is too slow. You're stopping too much. But it was still, she still kept it reasonably close to the footpath. So sometimes you do have to take a bullet for the team. Say to yourself, okay, if I pick up a grade two on the reverse for stopping a lot, just make sure you don't get any more grade twos. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to take one for the team. All right. Now, what else do we have? What's next? So to answer your question, ideally do it without stopping. Where are we? Where are we? So this is a good one. As always, Hong is always good with the questions. Can we overtake a bus over a continuous white line if the bus seems quite a long time in front of stopping you? So what I always tell people is you can't fail your driving test for doing the rules of the road. So the rules of the road says there's a bus in front of me, there's a continuous white line. The rules of the road says I can't overtake that. All right. So you can't fail your test for that. If they did fail you for that, they wouldn't have a leg to stand on because in the rule book it says we can't cross the line. On the other hand, you have to be a bit realistic sometimes as well. If there's 15 people getting on a bus, that's going to take about 4 or 5 minutes. Also, if it was like women getting on with prams and it could be like a lot going on, it can take a long time to get onto a bus. So if you can see up the road, look what it says here in the marking sheet guidelines. Disregard for a continuous white line, but where an applicant is following behind a slow moving vehicle and overtakes on a continuous white line, a fault should not be recorded, provided it's done in a controlled and safe manner. On the other hand, where an applicant stays behind the vehicle because of a continuous white line, a fault should not be recorded also. So both is correct. Sometimes there's not always only one answer. So both is correct. If you are going to overtake on a continuous white line, make sure you can see up the road that it's safe. Don't do it on the bend or a brow of a hill or anything like that. Now, some beautiful artwork here. So suppose I am car two, so I'm second at the lights and the traffic light is red. After the green light, and when we reach the stop line, do we need to completely stop and do the mirror checks before proceeding left and right? So think about what you're saying there. The light goes green, the first car moves. Do I stop at the line? That would be the complete opposite of the rules of the road. Green means go. If you stop there, someone is going to go into the back of you. You have to be. It's a stop line when the light is red. When it's green, it's go. You keep up with the car in front. I'm noticing a lot of people lately just going way too slow on the brake at traffic lights. Going too slow at a green light. It's the opposite of the green light. We don't brake hard at a green light. So that light goes green, the first car moves, keep up with the flow of traffic. Whatever you do, don't stop there at a green light. I have to go into a bit more detail. I actually does a slide later on talking about this. So this is a good question here, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to play the clip that I have saved. So a bit confused about lane discipline on roundabouts. Sometimes road markings are different to the norm. Sometimes we approach on the right lane, even if we are going straight. Do we keep to the right all the way or proceed in the left on the left once on the roundabout? So there's a bit to unpack on that. So normally I'm going to try do something here. I want to play because I have a video here. I'm going to share the screen. I'm going to go on to the slides that I had prepared. And so hopefully this plays. Ah, that's horrible. That's echoey. No, hold on. I'm not doing that. Is that playing? I'm sorry, lads. I don't know what's happening there. I have to figure that out for the next one. I don't know how to play them yet. I thought I did. It was working earlier, but not now. So let's go back to the question. So laying this, so when you're approaching a roundabout, usually the rule is left lane for left and left lane for straight, provided it's between the 6 and the 12. If you've seen any of my videos, I explain that. Sometimes, like that's the rule 90% of the time. Sometimes it can be straight throughs in the right lane. The only way to know that, there's two ways of knowing it. You either know the roundabout because you've practiced on it, or the other way is on approach. You're just looking up the road and you're just trying to identify the road markings as soon as possible. If you're unsure, your best for left and straight through approaching the left lane. If you see it's left only, then mirror signal, move into the next lane over. Um, it's really, and they always have the arrows right on top of the roundabout. They should put them back a lot further. So just when in doubt, be in the left lane. If you see it's left only and you want to go straight, then mirror signal, move into the next lane. I think that's what you're asking me. We're approaching the right lane. Yeah, that looks like what you're asking me. So similar situation on two lane junctions. If we enter from the right lane, do we need to move into the left lane after turning? Switch from the right to the left lane as we turn. Okay, and then I made a mistake in this talent test route with Philip. I was turning right. There was two lanes to turn right. I didn't even notice it, and I came into the right lane. Sorry, my dog is drinking water. If you come into the right lane on approach to turn right, you have to come into the right lane on the new road. You might get a mark for position turning right for being in the wrong lane, but then once you straighten up, mirror signal left and get into the left lane because that would be the preferred lane. In my defense, me and Philip had a good laugh about this in the car. I told him you should have told me I was taking the following left, but it doesn't matter. I probably would have got a mark for it anyway. Now, another good question. So, can we use the horn in the driving test? It depends on what you want to use it for. We don't beep the horn at somebody because they're a bit slow at a red light or because a pedestrian is crossing the road. That's not what it's for. The the reason why we use the horn is to alert another road user of our presence. So if you see somebody, I'll give you an example. If you're driving up the road, no, it'd be very rare you'd have to do this. If you see somebody coming up the road and they're swerving onto your side of the road because they're on their phone or something, that would be a good time for you to go beep, 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 beep. I'm here. Or if someone is reversing out of a parking space and you're sort of driving and they're going to reverse straight into you, this one would be a better idea. But before they hit you, because if they can't see it, they're going to keep on going. Just beat the horn. That'll be another time you could do it. But it's just to let somebody know, look at what you're doing because you're going to crash into me. That's the only time you use it. But you shouldn't have to use it in your test. Do you know what happens if our test is cancelled all of a sudden? What steps can we take? So I don't know the answer to that question. It's just that's the RSA. Ever since COVID, like everybody is sick. Everybody is taking sick days now. So if you it's happening to everybody, and it's horrible. People are waiting 10 months, and then that test gets they get a phone call tonight. By the way, your test is cancelled at 9:30 tomorrow. It's horrible, but it's happening. With that, that's a job for the RSA. You just have to get onto them and say, look, if you're ready to pass and you're ready to go, just say, look, I needed this. I need to get on the first. I need the first cancellation because this is your fault. You know what I mean? but that's a job for the RSA. Here's another one. So you're approaching a traffic light junction and you're about to turn right. You have a green full light and the car in front of you already in the intersection waiting for a gap in the oncoming traffic. There is no yellow box or turn right box in the intersection. Can you move forward into the intersection behind the car in front, or do you have to wait at the line? The famous question: can you fit two cars into the yellow box? I don't even know how to use the horn. Usually, you press the bit in the middle. um, so, the famous question: can you fit a second car up into the junction? The answer is both is correct. So, first of all, the answer. So there's too many people failing their driving test, even when they know the answer. A green full light, the first car has to go up to the middle. If you wait at the line, you're going to fail your driving test. So the first car goes up into the middle. All right. So it says here, no fault should be recorded if the applicant decides. This is for the second car. No fault should be recorded if the applicant decides to stay behind the line at traffic lights on a green light when there is sufficient space to move up until the car in front clears the junction. So that's saying if you're the second car and you wait behind the line, no fault will be recorded. Also, no fault should be recorded if the applicant decides to take up a position in the junction if there is enough space. So a lot of junctions, you'll only fit one car. If the second car is, if you have to stop across the pedestrian crossings, don't do it. Wait behind the line. If you can fit two cars up, you can do it. The only difference when you're the second car in the middle of a junction, you're at the mercy of all the other road users. If the car in front of you is too slow moving, or if the oncoming traffic starts breaking the traffic lights, you're going to be very late making that turn, and you might get a fail for traffic lights because of other road users making you late. So be wary of that one. When in doubt, the second car waits behind the line. Could you explain the best technique for moving off smoothly in slow moving traffic on a hill without rolling back? So the reason why people roll back, and I always say this about coasting, and you're doing the pedals backwards. So what people do is they have the clutch in and they're on the brake. And what people do is they come off the brake and then try to bring the clutch up and find the bite. If you'd done it the opposite way, if you brought your clutch up to the bite and then came off the brake, your car won't roll back. So do your feet the other way. Bring your clutch up first and then come off the brake. And when you think you have the bite, it's a half a centimeter more, and you just leave your foot there, and the car will just roll at a nice smooth pace. Hope that makes sense. Clutch up, then foot off the brake. I think the next three questions are fairly similar. When you are in heavy traffic, is it the best practice to stay in first gear, as the car will need to move off? Of course you can. Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, you can roll up, you can clutch in and stop and leave it in first, or you can go into neutral, handbrake up. It doesn't really matter. I like to just personally, I would just, if I stop into handbrake up into neutral and just take my feet off the pedals, and then when I see movement up ahead, I go into first and then I keep going. But all is correct in that one. When doing a turnabout on an uneven gradient, most turnabouts will be on an uneven gradient. How do we not roll back? Roll back, and if we do, is that a mark on the test? You'd have to roll back a fair bit. The only thing is, if you reverse all the way back and you're right on top of the footpath, if you roll back a little bit, if you touch the path, you might pick up a grade 2 for competency. If you bounce off the path, it's a grade 3. This is the exact same as 2 questions ago. You're doing your feet backwards if this is happening to you. Instead of clutching in, coming off the brake, and then bring your clutch up, do it the opposite way. Bring your clutch up and then come off the brake. and your car won't roll if your foot is at the bite. All right, I think that's everything. Oh no, oh geez. Anyway, to get a retest appointment faster, I've been waiting over 4 months now. I don't know the answer to that question, unfortunately. That's for the RSA. They keep. I used to tell people a way of doing it, and then that became obsolete. Then I'd think of another way, and then they stopped doing it that way. And then my Facebook group has been taken down as well, so nobody shares their experience. So I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, unfortunately. I'm sorry about that. Hopefully, you can find an answer somewhere. Is that cancellation app still working? I don't know. And last but not least, look how close we are to 20,000 subscribers. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button, will you? I would appreciate it. Doesn't cost you a thing, and you will be supporting the channel. And I think that's everything. Another real rough sailing that one was. But any questions there in the comments of anybody? Feel free there. Anything at all? Thank you very much, Techno Star. Who I thought I seen that somebody said it's me. How you doing, Sagar? What's the story? But good name, Techno Star. Yeah, happy enough, lads. Any questions? Oh, it's Harsh. I'm sorry, bud. How you doing, Harsh? You alright, bud? Good name, Harsh. No harsh breaking. Um, we leave it at that. So, thanks very much for joining, everybody. I know that was rough. I promise I'll make the next ones better. All right. Go on. Have a good night, everyone. And Renata, I'll see you in the morning. And Richie, I'll see you Thursday. And yeah, I will see you all soon. Thank you very much.